Hi guys, I wanted to go over today how I do my sourdough starter. I'm getting ready to do some videos on some sourdough recipes, but I thought I should start with this one first. So what I do, a little bit different than how most people do it, where they do flour and water and then they discard and discard and discard. I do a very, very simple, very old-fashioned recipe. I'm going to use flour and I'm going to use whey. And if you don't know how to get whey, you can take cultured buttermilk and set it on the counter and let it separate. Take the solids off, and the clear yellowy part will be whey. Or if you're making homemade yogurt, and I got a video on my blog about that as well, you can drain off some of the whey and use it in your baking recipes and also your sourdough recipes as well. So that's how I'm going to get started. You can do this with flour and water and just allow it to set. It's going to take longer. The whey has probiotics in it. It has that good beneficial bacteria in it that is going to jumpstart the fermentation process of this flour. Okay, so let's get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is plain flour or all-purpose flour. It's unbleached and unbrominated. So I am going to do about 1/4 cup, which is about 4 tablespoons. 1/4 cup is about 4 tablespoons. Okay. And then I am going to take my whey. And like I said, it's opaque, but it's a yellowy tinge to it, and that's normal. You always want to smell it. If it smells like fresh milk, then it's good and fresh. It'll last. If you strain it really, really good and get all of the milk solids out of this, then this will last 6 months in the fridge. If you do have some milk solids in there, then it will last about 2 weeks in the fridge. So the consistency we are going for here is like a really thick pancake batter consistency. Now, once we get the consistency that we want, we're just going to let it sit on the counter. We're going to check it every day to make sure that we have fed it enough flour. When a sourdough starter gets real thin and watery, it is because it's hungry. So you need to feed it more flour. You always want to keep that a thick pancake batter consistency. Now I'm making this for a friend of mine who wants to start her starter. Okay, so we have pretty much got it. So this is the consistency that you are looking for. Let me get a little bit closer. You see how it'll run off the spoon, but it's kind of in blobs. So it's not real thin, but it's not so thick that it's kind of dry. If you want to jumpstart this even further, you can put some caraway seeds in here. I don't know exactly how that works, but it does work, but it will give your sourdough a flavor. I haven't tried that myself. I have heard that. but this works just fine in about 3 or 4 days, depending on how warm your kitchen is. In about 3 or 4 days, this will be ready to make bread. The more you use it, the stronger and stronger it will get. You see how good that is? All mixed up. And like I said, we're going to start watching it now. We'll put a loose lid on it so that it can breathe. Or a piece of cloth to cover it with a rubber band would work too. But we're going to watch this. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning now. And so probably about 7, 8 o'clock tonight, I'll check this. And if it's a little bit watery, I'll put a little bit more flour in and stir it up, still maintaining that thick pancake batter consistency. And then I'll check it in the morning, and then I'll check it tomorrow evening, and keep it going like that. So this one is one that I fed yesterday. I don't keep very much. I'll probably keep, this is probably about a cup in here of fed sourdough starter. And you can tell when it's fed up, it gets all those little bubbles in there. Now, if I was going to make like a couple of loaves of bread or something like that, then I would really fill it up and want to fill up my jar with the bubbly sourdough starter. But whatever size container that you use, you don't want to feed it more than half, because it'll double after you feed it when it froths up and gets all bubbly and good. So today I'm going to make some crackers with this, and then I'll feed it up, and then tomorrow it'll be ready for whatever else I'm going to bake. I don't ever discard. If I want to rest my strong sourdough starter, then I will dry it out. So let me show you how to do that, because I am going to make the crackers later on today. All I need is a half a cup. Okay, well, there's only about a half a cup in there. So this is perfect timing. Okay. All right. So now I have taken most of what sourdough starter that I had in there. So there's just what's lining the walls of it and the bottom of it. So now I'm going to take this sourdough starter and dry it up with my flour so that it's ready to go in the fridge, and it'll rest a few days. When I'm ready to pull it back out of the fridge and get it active again, then I will just need to add water, get it to that thick pancake batter consistency, and let it set. Unbleached or unchlorinated water. So I use either the water out of my refrigerator that has, it's went through a filter, or I will use tap water that I have put in my jar. I keep a jar of it over there all the time, that has set out for at least 24 hours. That allows all the chlorine and things to evaporate out. So as you noticed, I put in quite a bit of flour, because I am going to dry this up with the flour. Now remember, this is to rest it. I'm going to scrape down my side there, get all that goodness in there. Okay. Scratch it off the walls. Anything that is wet, you want it dry. This has been the best way that I have found. I have tried to do it where you feed it and discard it and feed it and discard it, and I went through so much flour. I just didn't find it economical. And I know that's not how they did it back in the old days. And then I found a girl on here, and I forget her name, and I wish I didn't forget her name, but she is, she's on YouTube, and she was showing me how to make using the whey, and then how to dry it up like this. I will research her, see if I can find her, and if so, then I'll put it in the description box below. But it's been quite a while since I seen that and started doing this. It just makes more sense to me. Okay. And then, like I said, you can tell there's still quite a bit of like the dough in here, or the starter in here, I mean. So I'm going to smush it down and just see how much loose flour I've got. Okay. Let me scoot you all over here so you can see too. All right, can you see it now? So see how grainy and dry that is? Now that starter is perfectly fine in there, but it's going to put it to sleep because it doesn't have the liquid portion of it. So I'll push it all down, keep the air out, and then when it's in the refrigerator, you want to use it at least once a week to keep it good and healthy and strong. You can use whey to reactivate it, to wetten it down when it's ready to come out and bake bread with it. Or you can use water, either one, because this is a good, strong starter. This is not what we started today. This has been started for several months. And this is what it looked like when it was all fed up. You see all them little good bubbles in there? Yeah, all them bubbles. That's how you know you got a good active starter. Okay. So when this goes in the fridge, I do clamp it down then because I am trying to reduce the air, any kind of smell contaminants or anything like that. But this is how it's going to go in the fridge. And mine don't stay in the fridge, but maybe two, 3 days at the most, unless I'm going somewhere. But this is good to know. So this is how I start my starter. So if you give it a try, let me know how it worked for you and how you like your recipes. So now that I've got this recipe on the blog, I can go on with my sourdough starter recipes. I hope you follow along. Thanks.